Let's take a deep look back at our youth. We learn through everything around us, through our toys, friends, family, and for a lot of us, through our video games. Harvest Moon has always taken an excellent approach of educating children of every era the worth and importance of life, as well as how to cultivate life yourself and understand what it means to lose everything somewhere down the line, since everything does eventually come to an end. Story of Seasons: A Wonderful Life is far from a perfect remake for such a beloved series. If you, like me, grew up with the GameCube version of Harvest Moon, you may be overcome with a wash of nostalgia while playing through this game, but there are a few things that are quite disappointing with this remake that really take you out of it. I don't remember how many hours I sunk into Harvest Moon as a child, but I do know for a fact that I had well over 1,000 hours in Friends of Mineral Town. But when it came to A Wonderful Life, I'd say I had well over 100. I didn't have many games back then compared to the amount that I have now, and this is why it was so influential on me then and also now. To begin with the most important issues, animals cannot and will not die. This is something I honestly believe should be included in all SOS games. Remember as a child forgetting to bring in your animals on a rainy day or forgetting to feed them only for them to tip over and die or even die from old age? That is the one thing that I wish they maintained. It provided a deeper meaning to the game as a whole rather than entering heaven mode. The controls in this game are neither terrible or horrible, but there are certain quirks, especially while completing tasks like archaeology with Carter standing right next to you. It'll disallow player input because he is currently in speaking distance of you, which can be very annoying as it does waste a lot of your time with this minigame. If you recall the original game, planting, watering, and placing seeds was an absolute nightmare, flicking you to the same spot and being a literal hair trigger input away from missing. It's a lot easier now with all of these quality of life adjustments. I did notice a lot of people complaining about controllers not working properly, but I didn't see that to be true. This game isn't and never was designed for keyboard and mouse gameplay, but that sure could use some polish. Do you remember the original sprites, Nick, Knack, and Flack? Well, they butchered them. I really don't care if it was for copyright purposes. This is something that I absolutely hate. Their names no longer roll off the tongue, as they are now Ace, Jack, and Heart, and the Forgotten Valley, it's Forget-Me-Not Valley. I have no idea what they were thinking. It's just so disheartening. It's like looking back into the past, only for the past to be altered in a way that is missing. I also didn't see any issue with loading the game and the game being Japanese or any other languages because there is a literal configuration option choice separate from launching the game before you were able to launch the game that allows you to choose all of the correct settings. I don't really feel like there's a lot to talk about when it comes to gameplay or presentation because all you're going to be doing here is interacting with the residents, farming, taking care of animals, finding secrets, getting married, and eventually dying. It's a slightly refined remake with some new and deleted features. It's always unfortunate when there's so many players coming from games like Stardew Valley declaring that this game sucks or that game sucks. You know who they are making these big comparisons. But you also have to understand that we probably wouldn't have such great games like Stardew Valley without the classics of Harvest Moon and even Rune Factory. Harvest Moon has always been less about competition and more about being a genuine game about growth, being good to others, and getting to know yourself and the world around you and those who accompany you through your everyday life. There isn't much here to do but to talk to people, give them gifts, farm, generate money, and live a wonderful life. You shouldn't be expecting multiplayer or anything on those lines. It's a very old game that has been remade for individuals who would like to relive their youth, as the originals were exceedingly slow with a lot of lag and a lot of other issues, many of which have been addressed with this remake. Visually, it's great, and a lot of the slow inventory management and tool management is gone. Is it worth $40? No. On sale I would recommend it, but only if you truly want to support developers who keep bringing you good memories from your childhood.